record this video first thing. I'm waking up. I have not woken up early enough this entire year. It feels good. And it's not even really early. But I wanted to talk a little bit about a dream I had in 2019. What it means for my life. What it means for where I am right now. And just a mini recap, maybe, of this journey of self-discovery and spiritual path that I'm on. In 2019, I had a prophetic dream, one of many that I've had throughout my entire life, thank God, because they were reminding me of really who I am. I wouldn't even call it what is in store for me, even though it is, but the reality of it is it's who I am. So in 2019, just before my Kundalini awakening, I had a prophetic dream that I was absolutely blissful. I was successful. I was balanced. I was in divine union. I was harmonious. I was so illuminated so that I experienced myself as a ball of light, as a sphere of light by a body of water, and I was flying over the water. So realistic, so vibrant. So, I mean, it felt so good. You know, you ever have a dream where you feel 10 times better in the dream than you do in your waking life? Like, even if you're highly successful, you are balanced, you're in divine union, you're on top of the world, you're still not going to feel like that in your physical reality unless you're like in a Kundalini awakening or a really profound moment of illumination. You're not going to be able to reach that level of consciousness as we do in a dream. So even though I know that exact feeling, which is the same exact feeling that I felt all throughout my life in the other dreams, isn't going to be 100% realistic in my waking reality, what it symbolized and signified for me was my success, my fulfillment, my balance, my wholeness, my oneness as a spiritual divine being, living out my purpose, being in alignment. And that was when I had that dream, and I was absolutely miserable. I mean, it was just before my Kundalini awakening. I was an active addict. I was still over 200 pounds. So I had that dream. Then I had my Kundalini awakening. And it was funny, during my Kundalini awakening, which was the result of the union with my twin flame, I had this idea that it was like our happy ever after, like we're gonna ride off into the sunset, like literally, that's how I felt. Gradually I began to realize that wasn't so, but can you imagine I felt that? I had no idea the term twin flame, never heard it before in my life, which was odd enough because I had known her for 13 years at that point. But I had no idea that I was getting ready to embark upon what was known as the hero's journey into the dark night of the soul and, you know, all these things. Wow, what a reality check. What a wake-up call. And that lasted for years. So, that dream that I had programmed me, as well as the other ones in my life. But it was a huge depression and disappointment. Especially because she's not the only divine love that I've experienced. Maybe the intensity, of course. But, I've been battling this. I've been battling with losing myself to love, and I will put it that way, all of my life. In fact, some of my first memories are meeting another woman's eyes that I knew in a past life that's a higher self and being taken. So this is not anything new that I've been battling with, but I've been battling with it all my life. And the way that my life has played out and was set up, I'm just now and even very, very recently, I've reached this point because this entire year has been about soul retrieval for me. Ever since 2020, 2019, when I had my Kundalini awakening, I'd been meeting more and more and more souls from past life, people that were my mother in past lives, people that were my cousin in past life, you name it, on and on. And then this year especially, now that I've been making a lot of different soul connections, I was shown what a huge part of my purpose with all these past life lovers have been. I've been shown that's been part of my life's mission and purpose, so much so, the dots have been connected, the pieces have come together. It makes a little bit more sense to me. Thank God for the events of this year. But anyway, that dream reminded me and showed me that this, in fact, is within me. And not only is it within me, it is me. I am that. I am that level of success and fulfillment. It's just a matter of uncovering it. And that's what brings me to this video, because I feel as if, and I know quantum leaps, I've experienced many quantum leaps, I've experienced many miracles, I've waken up in completely new timelines and had things feel like what they were, like, erased. But usually the case when we're learning a soul lesson, that doesn't happen, because we have to learn the lesson. We have to learn what it is in our subconscious mind that has been causing whatever the issue that we're having is. But being where I am now and having the level of trauma that I do in my body and in the different parts of my body, and the traumas are conflicting, the conflicting energies within me, and all of these connections that I've had, and all how just my life is configured, not knowing what my purpose is. It makes me, I have no idea how I am ever going to actually uncover that level of alignment, bliss, success, fulfillment. I just can't imagine it, especially because I'm so many things. I'm an artist. I'm a photographer. I'm sure I'll be a filmmaker when I have the time to actually pursue it, and when I have the internal space to pursue it. I'm a teacher. Who knows where I will take my wisdom, what avenues of creation and service I'll take my wisdom and my knowledge and teachings. So, actually, when I look back at that dream and I see where I am now, you would think that it would be depressing. But actually, it's not depressing, surprisingly enough. Like, no matter how depressed that I can get in my daily life, that dream is actually the hope, the reassurance, the get back in the moment reminder. Get grounded, be present, enjoy the process, and be where you are. Because it's an adventure. It's a goal. It's a becoming. It's an unfolding. It's a learning process. It's a grand adventure, is really the message that comes from that dream. And that's precisely why it's those dreams that I had almost 5 years ago now that lead me here to this very moment in front of the camera, reminding you what this dream is giving me. And what it's giving me, I know to be true for you. So, and that message is to, we can't skip scenes. We have to stick to the script. Stay in the process. Stay with yourself. Trust the process. Trust that your life is unfolding in divine timing. Never, ever underestimate the power of your belief, of your intention. Intention is spell casting. When you have an intention, I'm going to do this for myself. The universe, the universe starts rearranging your outer reality to match that intention, and everything in your reality and everything inside of you, because it's inside of you, it comes outside of you, and it starts to happen. So never underestimate the power of your belief in yourself, in your capability. Push the limits. Tell yourself, say, I know that I'm capable of what I cannot even imagine right now because there's too many layers deep. But tell yourself out loud and believe it and know, because you've seen it firsthand already. I know that layer after layer, my potential expands. I soar. You know, my capacity increases for, X and Y and Z, and name it. And make your affirmations, back them up with emotion. Feel what it is that you're saying. I'm telling you, when you do this, you'll experience quantum leaps. Magic will happen. A lot of the time, the only reason why things don't happen for us is because we don't believe they can. Those subconscious programs are a biatch. That's why you have to start off with making that change in your thought and in your voice and in what you say, and then taking the action that's required. So that's why it requires no distractions, no Netflix, no nonsense on the phone. Like when you're really doing something, when you're working with magic and energy for yourself, it requires your attention, your intention, and your presence. That's a huge thing with Western society, is we're so consumed with everything else. We're with glamour, with noise, with, this and that, and with jokes and silly things, and with drinking and sex and porn and everything that keeps us. When I tell you this, please believe me, because throughout my hero's journey, throughout my dark night of the soul, throughout this whole process for myself, I spent weeks laying out in my backyard and out in fields and places in silence, with no television, no music, no texting, no phone. The only time I would ever pick up my phone was to either check the time or check the weather. That's it. And I spent weeks in silence. I've learned so much through these past several years that are absolutely priceless. Knowledge, information, tools. So the more discipline that you can have, the greater you're going to be. And you would not want, if you're in a similar situation, maybe you have a twin flame, maybe you went through a Kundalini awakening, maybe you're in the dark night of the soul right now, maybe you're on what you refer to as the hero's journey. Maybe you're going through very difficult things. You're having issues with other people, with your family, with yourself. If you're having issues with other people and with your family, it's because you're having them with yourself. They just manifest outwardly. We're in a time of war right now. That war is within the self. I'm in a great time of war myself. That's why, another reason why looking back to that dream is like, wow, how am I ever going to get there? Because I'm in such an internal state of war that I can't even imagine being in a place like that, especially because I have so many conflicting things going on inside me. Going back to that, being in alignment is when you think, act, say, do, and create in alignment. It's not divided. It's not split. It's not saying and doing one thing on stage and then going home and being another person and doing another thing. And so many of us are in that kind of state right now in our lives. Maybe even subconsciously, we might not even be aware of it. It might just be the normal to us because we never understood what soul alignment is. Now, me, however, I had a Kundalini awakening. All of my chakras aligned. I knew after that dream that I had, that was my Kundalini awakening, showed me the level of bliss and love that was mine. It would never show you that if that wasn't the goal that you had to do, because along with that goal, you're taking care of your past, you're taking care of your bloodline, you're taking care of all the soul connections that you're having, you're cleaning up the mess, so to speak. You're lifting the rug and you're cleaning out all the dirt and trash from underneath of it. So you have a great purpose. It's really hard. It's like, it seems impossible. You forget that you're actually doing something much greater than yourself, but because you're having so many issues, it feels so personal, and that's another thing of why it's the emotions and the things aren't being properly transmuted and alchemized, is because there is so much emotional imbalance and identity crisis. What you identify with is what's going to hold you back. That's why it's important that we disidentify with the experiences that we've had and the struggles that we have. Not identify with them, but know that that's something we experience. Now, who we are, that alignment that I experienced in all of my chakras, it was incredible. I literally felt my spirit like moving all around my body. I said, if I didn't have my body, I would go all over the place. I never felt that ever again. Maybe never will, quite in the same way. But that showed me what I was, that I was divine love, and showed me the level of bliss, love, awareness, consciousness that I could have in my waking reality. Now, I won't feel like that all the time. Maybe moments of illumination, maybe love making with someone that's capable of meeting me at the same level of consciousness. Of course, because being a twin flame, I could never be with anyone else. And until I reach that state of alignment for myself, it's not going to happen. Period. That's why I can't understand the whole dating thing. But then I got to realize that, I myself might even go through a dating phase before I find my partner that's going to be for life. Because I can tell you now, I probably will. Some twin flames don't even really go through a huge dating phase before they come into union, so maybe not. I mean, I've already been through so much with other women and other soul connections that are a part of my soul. But, we have to kind of go through this reflection process. They show, this is where you're out of balance. This isn't what's going to work. No, we have to be, that's why we have to know ourselves before we find that lasting partner that's going to be deeply fulfilling on every level. So God only knows when that will be, I mean, I've already been single now for like 5 years. I mean, I could be single for years and years more, but I'm finally at this point. Very recently, I reached a point where I'm like, that does not even bother me anymore, because I'm so focused on self-development and personal development and coming into alignment. Because my past is creeping up on me, and it's so hard to bear, But I wanted to mention that dream to remind you that this is your reality as well. This is why we're here. We're here we're not here to suffer. We're not here to wallow around and say, why does God hate me? We're here for a mission and a purpose, and it's our birthright to come into the knowing of I am, into alignment. That's what God is, and we are God. That's what Source is. That's the expression of Source. So that's why I say there's not a greater path that you want to be on than the one of self-discovery and self-aware and self-development. Instead of literally living half a life consumed with pleasures, quick fixes, distractions, temporary things that, give you the illusion that you're living a great life. But I've had a Kundalini awakening. I have a twin flame. I've had these prophetic dreams all my life. I've immersed myself in like-minded people, wise sages and spiritual teachers, in all different age groups that have gone through similar, life experiences. They've hit rock bottom. They've become disembodied. They've put themselves back together. There's a mainstream, how do I call it? Process. There's a very similar process that every person goes through. So I'm giving you so much love, so much encouragement, so much assurance that you are on the right path. You're in the perfect divine timing. Don't underestimate the power of your belief. Get clear, put up the distractions so you can refocus, make that sacrifice, whatever you need to, in order to do that. And trust your process, and that greater levels of awareness, consciousness, and clarity are coming to you because they're on their way.